Hi friends, I'm Ellen Gormley and welcome back to my channel. Are you ready to take your Tunisian crochet skills to the next level? So we're doing this stitch number 22 pattern from Dora Orenstein's book, The New Tunisian Crochet. And I did have some trouble with it and people have asked for some help on it, so let's do it together. We've got this complicated stitch diagram for Tunisian. So I think what I'm going to do is teach you the pattern and then go back and explain the diagram. So if you want to stay around for that, it's going to be worth your time, I think. This pattern. And so this section down here was me just swatching, trying to learn the pattern. Then I have a row of Tunisian simple stitch where I just started over. And so then I kind of got in the groove. So you can do it. I can do it. You can do it. We can all do it together. So we're going to do a multiple of 6 plus 5. So 6 4 times is 24, plus 5 is 29. So we're starting with a multiple, a chain of 29. I have chained 29 and pulled up one loop on each chain all the way across. So I'm going to return past though with an alternate color because I want you to be able to see the stitches really well. And so in another color, I think you're going to be able to see it. So I have a slip knot here. I'm going to place it on the end of my hook. And I am going to pull it through with the yellow as if I didn't change color. I think you'll be able to see the really cool crochet thread that happens in Tunisian when you pull through another color. So let's go through here. I just want to make sure it is a solid color scheme in her book, but I feel like demonstrating it in 2 colors might give you a better visual of what is going on and help you read the stitches better. So we just yarned over and pulled through 1 loop on the hook, and then we're yarning over and pulling through 2 loops on the hook all the way across. Tunisian crochet is a relaxing and valuable use of our time. I find the return pass especially relaxing. So we will go ahead and do the Tunisian simple stitch for the foundation row, as she calls it. So that's the foundation row, nothing new there for you. Now let's pull up the yellow in the next stitch, on the next pass, and this becomes row 1. Now row 1 is only done 1 time, and then rows 2 and 3 will be repeated for the pattern. So for row 1, we're going to leave this one on the hook. It counts as the first stitch. It is a Tunisian simple stitch. It takes the place of this bar here. We're going to Tunisian double crochet, so yarn over as if you're double crocheting, insert the hook in the as if to simple stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through just 2 loops on the hook, and leave the remaining loop there. So that is a Tunisian double crochet. We're going to do that in the next 2 stitches. So we have 1, we now have 2. Okay, we are working evenly 1 stitch for 1 stitch on this section. Now we will Tunisian simple stitch in the next 3. Once, twice, just pulling up a loop as if Tunisian simple stitch, 3. Okay, here we are. Now we're going to Tunisian double crochet in each of the next 3 stitches. So remember, we're yarning over, inserting as if to Tunisian simple stitch, pulling up a loop, yarning over and pulling through 2 loops on the hook, and not finishing the stitch. And 1 more time. So that's the Tunisian double crochet. I also have micro lessons for all of these stitches in other videos. So now we're Tunisian simple stitching for the next 3. So that if you need a refresher on these individual stitches, yarn over, we're doing 3 double crochets this time. So we're alternating 3 and 3. All the way across. Don't forget to pull through 2 loops on the hook on that double crochet so you don't end up with extra loops. Tunisian simple stitch for 1, 2, 3. Tunisian double crochet for 3. I do like a nice big swatch, and thank you for your patience as I work through this nice big swatch. I think you will appreciate it when we do the very interesting return pass where we start to group these together and make fans with it. Okay, so this is where we are so far. So we just did the double crochet stitches, so we're doing 3 Tunisian simple stitches now. 1, 2, 3, and double crochet for 3. And we're working all the way across to the last 2 stitches. In the last 2 stitches, so 3 double crochets. So we have 2 stitches remaining. The vertical pink bars are the stitches. We have 2 remaining, 1, 2. So we will Tunisian simple stitch in the next stitch just once. And we will Tunisian draw, or it says draw up a loop. So basically we're Tunisian simple stitching in that final stitch as well. Okay. So we should have 29 loops on our hook. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 29. We are right on target. Now, because I want to show you the different methods of this, or the different stitches, so that you can see exactly where your hook is going, I'm going to return pass with the pink. You can always do this with Tunisian where you're learning more than one color, but I think it illustrates the stitches even better. So for on the return pass, we are returning pass with the pink. We'll yarn over and draw through 3 loops. So we're counting yellow loops. 1, 2, 3. Okay, that counts as half of a fan. Then we're going to chain 2, 1, 2. Now we're going to yarn over and draw through 2 loops on the hook. So 1 pink one and 1 yellow one. Chain 2, 1, 2. Draw through 6 loops on the hook, okay? And this, let me give you a tip here. We're going to count 1 pink one and 5 yellow ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, the pattern here that's useful to see is that when you have, remember we did 3 double crochet ones in a row, the 6 pull throughs on the fan encompasses the first double crochet of the set of 3. Okay, so now we're going to chain 2, 1, 2. We're going to isolate that middle double crochet, Tunisian double crochet, by yarning over and pulling through 2, which is 1 pink one and 1 yellow one. Chaining 2, 1, 2. We will do this return pass more than once, so let's get a good look at it. And now it's time to pull through 6. So we're going to yarn over and pull through, and we can kind of get an eyeball of where we need to go when we find these 3 Tunisian double crochets over here. We know we need to include the first one because that's our pattern. So we need to pull through the pink plus all of the yellows, including the first double crochet of the 3 double crochets in a row. Okay, you see the pattern here? All right, so yarn over and pull through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And if you're doing this all in one color, obviously it's going to be all one color, and it's going to be not harder, but I think this helps you see exactly where you're pulling through a little bit better with multiple color when I worked multiple color. Also, variegated yarn makes it easier to see as well. So again, the group of 6 is going to encompass all of the stitches from the last Tunisian double crochet of that 3 set and the first one of the next set. So yarn over and pull through 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, chain 2. Very fun. Yarn over and pull through 2. 1 pink and 1 yellow. Chain 2. Yarn over and pull through 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, and then when you get to the final 3 loops on the hook, we're going to chain 2, 1, 2, oop, dropped it, 2, yarn over and pull through 2 loops on the hook, that's in brackets, twice. So yarn over and pull through 2 loops on the hook 1 time, yarn over, pull through 2 loops on the hook a 2nd time to make twice. All right, here's where we are. And here's where we are on the swatch right here. So I did a beginning row of Tunisian simple stitch here when I learned that it was tough and I couldn't figure it out. And I figured it out here on this next set. I reset myself with Tunisian simple stitch and I just made this bottom half of the Starburst pattern with that first row. Okay, so now we have finished one row. We've gone a forward pass and a return pass for row 1. We will not do row 1 again. However, that return pass that we just did, we will use again. So we're not working into Tunisian simple stitch anymore, and that is why we will not pick up in Tunisian simple stitch anymore. Row 2 now. We have a new stitch introduced in this section. We're going to continue with the pink as we work a return pass. This first loop on the hook counts as the first stitch, so we don't need to do anything with that. We're going to Tunisian simple stitch in the first one. Now we're going to Tunisian full, and you may remember this from previous videos. The full is just in the space, grabbing the yarn and pulling up a loop. Now in this little horizontal bar over the top of the fan, that's what bound that fan together. That is where we're placing 3 Tunisian double crochets. In the book, I believe it just says, oh, wait a minute, that's at the end. There's a little typo with Tunisian double crochet. She wrote double crochet, she meant Tunisian double crochet, but we figured it out, and it comes at the end of the row. Okay, so 3 Tunisian double crochets in that same space that bound together the fan from the previous row. Okay, so now we will do another Tunisian full stitch, so filling the gap, Tunisian simple in the vertical bar, Tunisian full, filling the gap, and then when we get to the next fan, that horizontal bar there that binds it all together, that little space, we're going to place 3 Tunisian double crochets in there. 1, 2, 3. Okay, Tunisian full, fill the gap, Tunisian simple, easy as pie, Tunisian full, fill the gap, and then we have another fan, so we're working 3 double crochets, Tunisian double crochets in that spot. So stay tuned with me because I'm going to show you the diagram. It's pretty tricky, and I admit that I looked at the written instructions for this pattern more than the diagram in this particular instance, but I will show you all the tricks that I learned. Okay, remember we are at a full at this point, Tunisian full in the space, 3 Tunisian double crochets in the stitch that bound that fan together. And before I pull through return pass, I will lay it down and show you where we are. So Tunisian full and all the spaces, Tunisian simple and all the simples. Don't forget to end with a Tunisian full in the space here. And then we're going to, this is where it says, in the text it says double crochet, 2 double crochets in the last stitch, but I'm positive she means Tunisian double crochet in that last fan, that last half of a fan there. So here's half of a fan, there's only 3 pieces, and there's the stitch that bound it together, and we're placing 2 Tunisian double crochets in that spot. Now this is where we are, and we should have 29 stitches because we are not increasing or decreasing. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 29. So we are right on target. I think I said 29 before. I hope I did. 29 is the right number. Now I'm going to drop the pink and do a return pass with the yellow because I'm just trying to show you how it looks. So for the return pass of row 2, so the foundation row didn't count as a row. So even though the simple stitch row, that's just called the foundation row. So that does not count as row 1. The yellow loop there counts as row 1. The pink that I'm finishing now is row 2. The row 2 will be repeated. So let's pull through return pass with the yellow. So the instructions tell us we are going to yarn over and draw through 1 loop. There it is, 1 loop. Now we're going to chain 2, 1, 2. Now we are going to yarn over and draw through 6 loops. Okay, so remember our pattern is to make sure to include the first Tunisian double crochet when we had 1, 2, 3 in a row. So we're going to pull through 1 yellow plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pink to make 6. Okay, you ready? All right. 1, yarn over, pull through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we're making another little fan there. So now the rhythm continues the same way we did for the previous return pass. We chain 2, we yarn over and pull through 2, we're chaining 2. So when we are finding that one stitch by itself, it's bookended by chain 2, 1 pull through, and chain 2. So now it's time to pull through 6, yarn over and pull through 6, including the first double crochet of the next set of 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Chain 2, yarn over and pull through 2 loops on the hook, which is 1 yellow and 1 pink. Chain 2, and we are going to yarn over and pull through 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, now it gets a little tricky because if you were to lay it down and count how many loops you pulled through, you're only going to see 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the pink ones, because the first one that you don't see kind of gets hidden in the chain there. So don't let that fool you. You still did it. Your chain 2, yarn over, and watch this. When you yarn over and pull through 2, the first one is a chain and the second one is a loop. So it just looks like one loop. So chain 2, and yarn over and pull through 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Chain 2, yarn over and pull through 2, chain 2. And when we get to this last 4, 4 pink plus the 1, we have 5 loops left on the hook. We chained our 2, we're going to draw through 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 2 loops left. We're going to yarn over and draw through 2 loops on the hook. So that was row 2. We are going to alternate rows 2 and 3. So let's show you row number 3 now. We're going to start with the forward pass in the yellow. So the first stitch is already on the hook. We are going to 2 double crochets in the first half fan. So this is a half fan, it's only 3 pieces, and this horizontal bar at the top that binds it together is where we're placing the first 2 Tunisian double crochets. So I have, by the way, a case-sized double-ended hook that I'm using for my Tunisian hook today. There's 1 Tunisian double crochet, and I'll place another one in the same spot. All right. I really do like to go up a hook size when I am doing Tunisian crochet. Now we have the same pattern, now that we have gotten the row started, as the previous row. So we are Tunisian full stitching, filling the hole, Tunisian simple stitching in this 1 single bar, filling the space with the Tunisian full, and 3 Tunisian double crochet in the top of the complete fan from the row before in that horizontal bar that bound it all together. 3. Now Tunisian full, pull up a loop, give myself a little more yarn slack, Tunisian simple, Tunisian full, 3 Tunisian double crochets in the horizontal bar that bound that fan from the previous row all together. There's the 3 Tunisian double crochets. Tunisian full, insert your hook in that whole space. Tunisian simple stitch. Tunisian full, just poke it through that big hole underneath the chain pull through, the return pass. 3 double crochets, Tunisian double crochets in that horizontal bar that bound that previous fan together, leaving 1 loop on the hook for each stitch. Tunisian full, Tunisian simple, Tunisian full, and 3 Tunisian double crochet in the top of the fan. And we're almost there. So at the end of this row, we need to make sure and place the 3 Tunisian double crochets there. And then we will have a Tunisian full in the space. And just draw up 1 loop in the last bar. Right there, okay? And then we will return pass with the pink. Okay, so to return pass, the return pass is the same return pass we did for row 1. So let me do that and then I'll get out the diagram and show you what we did. So we're going to return pass the same as row 1. So we're yarning over and pulling through 3 loops on the hook, and that creates the half fan at the end of the row, and it includes the first double crochet of the 1, 2, 3 Tunisian double crochets of the group. Chain 2, yarn over, pull through 2, which is 1 pink and 1 yellow, chain 2, 1, 2, yarn over and pull through 6, which encompasses 1 pink and 5 yellow for a total of 6 that includes the first Tunisian double crochet of the next set of 3 double crochets. Okay, and we're following this all the way across. So when I finish this row, I'm going to pull the diagram out because I know many of you are interested in learning how to read symbol diagrams for Tunisian crochet. And now that you have learned the stitch, you might be able to recognize the symbols a little bit better. Chain 2, yarn over, pull through 2, chain 2, yarn over, pull through 6, chain 2, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, chain 2, yarn over, pull through 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And when we get to the end of this row, to the last 3 loops, we will chain 2, 1, 2, yarn over and draw through 2 loops on the hook. That was in brackets, so that means do it twice because it says twice after the bracket. Okay, so that is the stitch pattern, and we're repeating rows 2 and 3. Remember, this is the foundation row. This is row 1. It doesn't, neither one of those count. Then we do 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3 for the length of our piece. And when you do it all in one color, it looks like this. It looks like this here in one color. You can see the little starburst. Okay, so let's look at the symbol diagram. The symbol diagram. So when we're looking at a symbol diagram, each row has 2 layers to it. So layer 1, this all is row 1, right, or the foundation row, foundation row right here. All of this. Forward pass, simple stitch in the chains, return pass as normal. They don't have any chains at the bottom, but that's what you do. You chain that number, you pick up a loop and Tunisian simple stitch style all the way across, and you return pass, that's the squiggle all the way back. Then row 1, when we began the pattern, if you remember, we pulled up yellow. We did 1 Tunisian simple, then we did 2, 1 in each of the next 2 Tunisian doubles. The little hashtag means yarn over once, so that's why we know it's a double. Then we did 1, 2, 3 simples, 1, 2, 3 doubles, and then this section in between the red is repeated. 1, 2, 3 simples, 1, 2, 3 double. So that is the section that is repeated all the way for the length. And then at the end, there's 1 Tunisian simple and 1 Tunisian simple. Okay, so that completes the forward pass of row 1. Now, the return pass of row 1, which we just did just a moment ago, remember we yarned over and pulled through 3. 1, 2, 3. That's what these little diagonal lines are. That creates the half fan. Then we chain 2, 1, 2, those are the ovals. Then we yarned over and pulled through 1, 2. Okay, then we chain 2, and then we yarned over and pulled through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, plus the one that was on the hook. So like the last one of the double crochet 3 grouping, encompassing even the first one of the 3 double crochet grouping of the next group. Okay, so even though you only see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines, and it encompasses 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stitches. Because we yarned over and pulled through one of the chains, that's why the written instruction says yarn over and pull through 6. But it's really 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 yellow strands or fan strands that you see. So these diagonals are like the fan strands that you see. Then yarn over and pull through 2 stitches, then yarn over and pull through, chain 2, yarn over, pull through 1, chain 2, yarn over and pull through 6. And so the 6th one is the one on the hook already, plus the 5, okay? Tunisian charts are very difficult. And then you'll chain 2, and then you'll yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2 loops on the hook. Got it? Now, this next section is what is repeated, 2 and 3. Now, we know that the return pass of row 1, we repeat it again because we did it. So this row, this return pass up here, and this return pass down here are exactly the same. So let's go through this row 2 and 3 real quick. So when we're picking up bars for row 2, then we're doing Tunisian simple stitch, Tunisian simple stitch. Now this is the one that was already on the hook, so we don't actually do anything with it, but it counts as this stitch here. This oval with the line through it is the Tunisian full, okay? Then we actually skipped a chain and didn't do anything with it, but that little horizontal bar that pulled together, that fan, that little horizontal bar, right here is where we did 3 Tunisian double crochets. We didn't do anything with that chain. We just did a full in that space. Tunisian full, that's what that symbol is. Tunisian simple in the previous stitch, Tunisian full, and then 3 double crochets, Tunisian double crochets in the horizontal bar that bound together the fan from the previous row. Okay? Tunisian full, Tunisian simple, Tunisian full, and then in the last horizontal bar of the half fan, we did 2 Tunisian double crochets. And you can tell those are double crochets because it's got the little hash mark. Okay? I know it's a lot, but I think once you see it, you'll really appreciate the beauty of it and the fact that both sets of information, both visual and written, can help you understand when one is just not cutting it. So then row 3 is, oh, and then we pull back. We do the return pass. So yarn over, pull through 1, then chain 2, then yarn over and pull through 6, chain 2. So this one here is the yarn over and pull through all of these lines, and then chain 2, 1, 2, yarn over and pull through, yarn over, chain 2, 1, 2. This little squiggle is yarn over and pull through all the lines that come underneath it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but also the chain that was already on the hook. That's why the written instructions say 6. Yarn over and pull through 2 loops on the hook, which goes under just that single stitch. Chain 2, yarn over and pull through 3 to make that ending fan, and then yarn over and pull through 2 again. So I think that gives you a good start. We're just repeating. I think you can maybe even figure this one out. So as we're doing the forward pass of row 3, this is a Tunisian simple, then Tunisian double, 2 Tunisian double stitches in the horizontal bar that bound this previous fan together. Okay, so that's right here. And then we continue with, remember, a full, a simple, a full, 3 double crochets in the horizontal bar. So I hope that this inspires you, that you can do it. You can look at a Tunisian complex chart and play with it and figure it out. I'd like you to take a look at the Tunisian stems and vine pattern and the Tunisian lace diagonal, because I know you guys love Tunisian lace stitches. So thank you so much for joining me. Crochet is a relaxing and valuable use of our time, and I'll see you in the next video.